Today we welcome T. Renee Smith, CEO of iSuccess Consulting Incorporated. She is known as the business scalability strategist. She is dedicated to empowering 1 million CEOs globally to build generational wealth through holistic entrepreneurship. T. Renee has helped raise more than $30 million in capital for small businesses and is the secret weapon behind many successful corporate minority business development programs, including Delta Airlines and Southern Company. Hers is not an uphill success story, and she details the tough lessons of her own business failures and successes in her best selling book, The CEO Life. We invite you to listen carefully to our guest, T. Renee Smith. Welcome, Renee.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, my dear, and welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so happy that you're here and ready to drop some gems on our audience. So, T. Renee,
Yes.
how did you arrive to where you are today?
Well, I don't think I've arrived. I think I am arriving. I think I am evolving. One thing that I love about the show and what you guys are doing is you really are telling the journey or you telling the story. I always say don't compare your chapter 3 or 4 or 5 to somebody else's chapter 20 or chapter 40. So I say that I'm still a work in process and I'm still learning and I'm growing. I've been an entrepreneur for well over 20 years. So, I started when I was about 5. And
Good one.
oh my God. So I've been doing it a long time. And so I have the bumps and bruises to prove it. And so it has not been successful for me all the time. I think I've definitely had more failures than I've had successes. And I've learned from those failures. And I always tell people that fail is just first attempt in learning. And so it really is no such thing as failure. You learn, you keep going, and you fail fast, you fail forward, and you fail often. And so I've been a serial entrepreneur. I had several businesses that worked, and then I had several businesses that did not work. And because of lack of planning, lack of credit, lack of strategy, I ended up in a business partnership with someone that didn't share the same values as I did. And it ended very, very badly for me legally. And so I know a lot of people, they may see me now and they may say she's successful, she's worked with all these companies, but it did not always happen like that. I actually ended up spending 46 months in prison and I lost everything and had to start all over again. So I say to anybody, it doesn't matter where you are right now. Just keep focused on that vision that you have, and then you put in the work, get a plan, execute, and your tomorrow can look totally different than your today based on the decisions that you make. Okay, so Ruth and Ida, that was a long answer to your question.
No, that was
There
the
it is.
answer I was looking for. Good job.
There it is.
Yes, yes.
I just
Wow.
think it's amazing. You're an amazing woman. You really are. Not many people could come back from what you experienced on your first time out being an entrepreneur. And like you said, you ended up spending 46 months in prison.
Yep.
Yeah, most people would have crumbled
Yeah.
at that point, thrown up their hands and run for the hills and just hid for the rest of their life. But you did not. And that is so inspiring. That is
Thank
so
you.
inspiring.
And what I tell I know that you guys have probably heard it, is that really God can turn your test into a testimonial. And
Mhm.
that when you lose everything, that's when you really meet yourself. So I think for me, I was so identified by the 8,000 square foot house, the Mercedes, the Hummer, the red bottom shoes, the clothes, all of that, the business. When I lost that, one day I had it, let's say on a Thursday, and then that Friday I had to move back in with my parents and I lost everything. And all I had was me. And what I realized was that I didn't know me. I had a very low self esteem. I had no identity outside of the possessions or the things that I had. So that's when the real work starts. And so for me, a lot of people would look at it like that was the worst time in her life. That was the worst thing that could have happened to her. But actually, I think that that was one of the best things for me because that allowed me to get to know who I was, just me, not any attached to any material possessions. And that's when God started, I believe, for me, cultivating my purpose, cultivating faith, cultivating discipline. And so a lot of people, they want to be on the big stage, but they don't really realize like the character and the integrity and the discipline that it takes not only to get onto this stage. So those skills were being developed now. I mean, developed then. So the stuff that I'm doing now, it started being developed well over 10, 12, 15 years ago. So what you're seeing now is the fruit of that. And I don't remember who said it, but they were like, it takes you 15 years to become an overnight success. And most small businesses, we want to incorporate on Monday. And by Friday, we feel like we should be a 6 or 7 figure business. You know what I'm saying?
Except for those who are doing it. We had it.
Right. We are like, wait a minute, where's the money? Where's the clients? Where's the millions? And we're on day 2 of the business. And so it takes discipline, day in, day out, doing the same thing, failing, learning from the failures, get back up, get knocked down again, get back up. It takes that discipline.
Yes, it does.
And that's why I say you can't just do a business for money.
No, you can't.
If you do it for money,
Amen. I am so glad you said that, because
yes, thank you.
I always say, take away the money. Is it something that you would do for free? That's how you know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. So we got a comment from Jeanette.
Hey, Jeanette. Hey,
girl. And she also says, you are definitely a part of God's plan.
Oh, that's
Thank you. And what's funny is all of us have our purpose. So many of us are trying to be like Oprah or LeBron James, or, thinking that it has to be this massive thing, but not for everybody. Like, your purpose is specifically for you, and only you can do it. Right. And it could be grand, or it may be something small. Some people's purpose could be being a mother, being a wife. Others, it may be having a business. Others, it may be a teacher. So I think oftentimes we will compare our purpose to what somebody else is doing. And we think that we should be doing bigger. We think that we should be doing better. But when we do that, we still are feeling unhappy, and we're still feeling unfulfilled. But I tell people it's 2 coins. It's 2 sides of the coin. So number one, people that are operating in their purpose, or what they believe is their purpose and gifting, but they have no strategy, they have no discipline. They just think that because I'm doing something that I believe I'm purposeful at doing it, then the money's just supposed to happen, or it's just supposed to flow. You still you still have to have strategy. You still have to have discipline. You still have to execute. You still have to make sure that you have a mindset of abundance. So you still have to have that purpose plus that strategy. Mm-hmm. And then you have other people on the other hand that they're just starting business after business after business, trying to, figure out what's going to make them money. So the people over here that has a strategy, then you still need to have some form of purpose. Now, your purpose should be infused in your business. Your business does not have to be completely your purpose. Like, I remember when I was doing technical training. This was many, many years ago. And that just was not my purpose. I did it. I was good at it. But what I did was I infused my purpose, which I believe is helping people to shift their mindset, helping them to empower and overcome limiting beliefs. So even in the midst of doing that, I infused it in there. So you just have to infuse your purpose into what you're doing. It may or may not be your business. Or if you're working a job, it may be infusing it into your job, because everybody was not called to be an entrepreneur.
That's right.
We have to be honest with ourselves. Like, if we don't like taking risks, if we're not willing to step out of our comfort zone, if we're not willing to change our behavior and change our mindset, if we are always waiting for somebody to tell us what to do versus being an innovator, a leader, and a creator, then entrepreneurship may not be for you. Like, a lot of people sell the dream of being an entrepreneur, if that is what you're called to be, or if that is what you want to do. But don't allow anybody to force you. So I had a girlfriend who she got swept up in everybody around her wanting to be an entrepreneur. And so she did it. She had gotten downsized from her company, and she invested tons and tons and tons in her business. And she knew within her bones that she did not want to do it. 2 years later, and a whole bunch of debt, she closed the business because it was never something that she wanted to do. She just felt like she should do it.
Because
Yeah.
everybody else was doing it.
That's a
Stay
very
in
big
your
point.
own lane. Stop trying to get in somebody else's lane. Stay in your own lane.
Yeah.
I know that's right. Plain
You
and
can get into a
simple.
lot of trouble that way.
Yeah.
Put
Yes.
on collisions, as a matter of fact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like you
You,
said, everybody's not built for it. It's
Mhm.
being an entrepreneur is, whew,
It's tough.
it's
And it
tough.
demands a lot of yourself. And sometimes you mentioned it, the self that you don't even know. And a lot of people come into doing something without having that self knowledge,
Yep.
So they're, like you said, doing what other people have encouraged them to do, or because everybody else is doing it. But if you don't have a real knowledge of who you are, you can't even think about purpose,
And I
because
tell,
purpose is so much part of who you are. I always call it the original blueprint of who we are. We get
mm-hmm,
that at conception.
mm-hmm,
From the moment of conception, we are given a blueprint.
mm-hmm,
And it's part of our job in life is to discover what that blueprint is,
mm-hmm.
who we
And
really are.
I think a lot of times too, we will go looking for someone else or go looking to someone else to help us to figure out our purpose.
Mhm.
And that is the inside job. That's inside work where you
Right.
have to do the work, where you have to tune into God or your higher power and find out from Him what your original design is and what you're supposed to do. I don't remember who said it, but it's like you have a Mercedes, right? And there is a Mercedes manual that tells you exactly how the car operates, but you're going to go over here to a Kia dealership who doesn't work on Mercedes Benz, and you're gonna ask them, well, what should I do to this car? They don't know. So
Right.
you have to, and I say put yourself in solitary confinement where you're tuning out the noise of social media, tuning out the noise maybe of friends and family. Like they may have great intention, but that you don't realize sometimes that they could be blocking your blessings because of their own limiting beliefs or but because of how they see you, maybe who you used to be or where you are now, but not maybe seeing you for who you can become.
Mhm.
So you've got to get quiet within yourself, quiet your mind and turn inward to find out from you and be honest, like what are those things that you're passionate about, what are those things that you're gifted about, what are those things that give you joy? And really looking inward and saying, what things have I overcome? Like those things that you suppress, you don't want to talk about, those difficult relationships. So if I look at some of the most traumatic times in my life, whether it be when I had two miscarriages or, when I was younger, when I was in a mentally, abusive relationship or whatever it was, like those are the things that help develop me and enable me really to relate to other people and to pour into other people. So the very thing oftentimes that we're trying to suppress, that we're trying to not talk about, that we're trying to forget, that we're embarrassed of, those could be some of the very things that God is going to use for you in stepping into your purpose. And so, even though I may be doing business consulting and business strategy and coaching, a lot of the people that I work with, even though I work with women, I work with some bold brothers too. I am able to assist them with shifting their mindset because I had to do the work to shift my mindset, to go from
Mhm.
not knowing who I am to understanding my worth and value so that I can promote my business the way that I need to. Like the same thing that I had to go through, I now can take other people through. So the very thing that we don't want to talk about oftentimes is the very thing that is holding you back from experiencing the abundance that you want. And not just when I say abundance, I'm not talking about just money, but I'm talking about mind, body, spirit, relationships, money. So, like, if we don't deal with the hurt and the pain that we've had, whether it's from our mothers, our fathers, an ex, or whoever it is, then that's just going to continue to flow into all the other, relationships and things that we have. But if you're able to heal ourselves, then you'll see that as you're going on your path or journey, you'll meet people that have gone through similar things that you have that need you to deliver them. So one thing that I heard was that your authenticity is somebody else's transformation.
I like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Fabulous.
Okay, we got Janetta. Janetta again. I'm so happy to hear your story. All right.
But let me tell you something, Janetta. I coached for years for free. I coached for years for free, didn't get paid. I was just focused on adding value. And what God told me, He said, I'm just taking you through a season of developing you. And then when you're ready, you're not going to have to worry about where the money's coming from because you're going to be so disciplined. You're going to have proven yourself faithful, and then it's going to come to you. So a lot of people, they do the reverse. They haven't cultivated the skills that they needed, but they're focused on the money and they're going out and they're trying to just attract or new clients or get new business. But when you're faithful and you cultivate and you develop skills and you add value and you increase your worth and your knowledge, then it's going to be attracted to you. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I say to people all the time, whoever you're attracting in your life, whether it's clients, whether it's friends, whether it's relationships, it is just a reflection of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't like what you're attracting, then you got to take a real look in the mirror at yourself because you are a direct version of who you are attracting. And it's not intentional. It's just it is just how it is.
Mhm.
If you like to gossip, then those are going to be the kind of people that you're attracting. If you're focused on building your business, investing, building generational wealth, then that's the kind of energy that you're going to attract because you're not going to have time to deal with anything else.
And that's
Yeah.
that's a fact. That
Mhm.
is truly a fact.
Yeah.
Wow. So now that you're running $1 million company, how do you manage your work life? How do you keep a harmonious?
Ah! I'm so glad my husband is not here because he would be like, "What? She not?" No, I'm just- I would tell you that has been one of the biggest struggles for me. And so the one thing that I learned is there is no such thing as work-life balance. That's a myth, it's a lie. It's not happening. Not happening. So, I say it all the time. It's like somebody that's juggling. You got all these balls in the air. Some hand is going to get tired and then balls are going to drop. So I talk about work life integration and work life harmony. And what that simply means is you can do everything that it is that you're wanting to do. You just have to figure out what your strategy is, right? And you can have it all, but you cannot do it all by yourself. Like I remember when people used to talk about Michelle Obama, they're like, "Oh my God, she's great, she's fabulous, she can do this." And she came out, she said, "Listen, I have a whole team." Okay, so do not
Mhm.
think that it's just me; it's I have a whole team. So the very first thing with the work-life integration or work-life harmony is you have to understand what your priorities are because it's not that you don't have enough time, is that you don't have your priorities right and you don't have your schedule and your calendar right. So the very first thing that you have to do is understand your priorities. And when my husband and I were having the biggest struggle, my priorities were off. My business was my kids and my business, they're right there. My husband, self-care, it really wasn't on the list. And I remember he probably felt like I was cheating with him and cheating on him with the business because I thought
Mhm.
about it when I woke up, when I went to bed. I dreamed about it. I missed it, when I was away. And so I had to totally change my mindset and say my priorities are number one, my self care. And self care is not selfish, it's self love. I can only give to somebody what I already have. So if I'm
Mhm.
operating in a deficit or I'm operating from my reserves because I'm pouring out to everybody and I'm not pouring into myself, then that's not going to last long. So priority number one is my self care, which doesn't just mean a manicure or a pedicure. No, it means self care, mind, body, spirit, pouring into my soul, pouring into my spirit,
Mhm.
setting boundaries. So that's number one. My second priority is my husband. Like that is my partner. And so I have to make sure that he is taken care of. Number three is my kids. And the number four is my business. So you see, business is down here at number four. Like I
Yeah.
have three other things that I have to get done before I even get to the business. So prior to us doing our podcast, I was making sure that my son was taken care of, that he was good, everybody has eaten, did what they need to do. So I have transitioned. I am a reformed alpha female CEO. I am reformed. I'm
Okay.
reformed. I'm reformed. I am tapping into my feminine energy, right? So for me, it's important that I have success in my business, but not at the detriment of my marriage and the detriment of not having a great relationship with my kids. So with me setting my priorities, I make sure that all these other things are done before I even get to the business part of it. And the way that I fit it in is, since I understand my priorities, I schedule
Yes.
time in to make sure that, so in the morning before I get to the office, I am up early, working out, reading, meditating, stretching. That's priority number one. Then number two, making sure that my husband's good. Does he need any breakfast? Is he good to go? Kids, they're great, happy, off to school. And then now I can, focus on my business. And so you have to make sure that you have your priorities in order. And so you can have it all if you define what that means and you have a system. So just like you have to have a system in your business, you have to have a system personally to make sure that your personal life is in order.
Yes, yes. And it's funny you said that because just before interviewing, I made sure my husband had his dinner.
Mhm.
Stay married and be happy.
So he happy as a lark, and I'm doing what I did.
But what happens is, I think that, and let me say, I do not have it all figured out. I am reformed, or maybe I should say reforming, because it is still a work in process. I still get the side eye sometimes
Mhm.
because I will, get out of focused, right? And then I'll have to get back in focus. But I think that, society paints this picture that women can do just as much as men can, and which I believe that they can, but I think you have to decide what it is that you want.
Mhm.
What is it that you want? And so when I am in CEO boss mode, I am that leader, aggressive, not even aggressive, assertive, let's get it done, timelines. But then when I walk into that mode of wife and mother, then I have to take that hat off and be more feminine and be more soft and be more nurturing. And so I think that I have come across so many powerful CEO women that are single and they're not in relationships and they want to be. And I think one of the biggest struggle for them is being able to tap into that feminine side, because you're in that boss mode and you have to get those things done, but you really do have to like turn off a switch and take a cap off. And it's taking me years. I'm not gonna tell y'all how many years because I don't want y'all all up in my business, but it has taken me years to figure it out. And I'm still working on it. But I don't think that you have a lot of women out here that's really talking about that you
Mhm.
can be both of them, and it doesn't make you weak, and it doesn't make you subservient, and it doesn't make you any of the things. What it makes you is being in a position to have a very happy and a peaceful home.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
agree. I agree with that.
Yes.
I
And
think
you
very
love
often we went through that whole period where we did go, women can do everything, the whole feminist movement. And yes, we can do anything. And, we can. We can. We've proven it. Over the centuries, we've proven it. Women take on some tremendous roles. In the worst of situations, it's usually a
Absolutely.
woman who takes on the heaviest role emotionally and every other way in keeping the family together. So now we do have to tap back into our feminine energy. I love that you're saying that and talking about it.
If that's what you want to do, right? So for me, I had to, because I was caught up in that I can do it all. I can do exactly what a man does. I can this. And then I woke up one day and I was like, but I don't want to. I mean, I could,
Mhm.
but I don't want to. I just, I don't want to, right? And I think I was talking with one of my girlfriends, and we were talking about the Superwoman Syndrome. And it is actually a real thing. You can Google it and look it up. It's the Superwoman Syndrome. And it's where women, and especially, well, all women, but especially Black women, have had to be that person just like you said, that takes care of everything, that takes care of everybody. Don't shed a tear. Don't complain about it. You just do it, get it done, suppress your feelings. It doesn't matter if you're tired, you make it happen. Everybody that needs a problem solved, they come into you to solve. And what we're doing is we're running ourselves in the ground. We're getting diabetes. We're having strokes. We're emotionally eating. We're being in abusive relationships. We're doing all these things in the name of, it's good to say that I'm this strong Black woman. It's good to say that I am Superwoman. I don't cry. I just get through it. Soldier up. No, I think the pandemic has taught us really, 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 and put at the forefront how important mental health is,
Yes.
how
Yes.
important it is to take care of yourself. And
Mhm.
so we as women, and especially Black women, have to be able to understand what our limitations are. We have to be able to set boundaries and understand that no is a complete sentence. And when I say no to somebody else, or I say no to some things, I am saying yes to myself. As
Yes.
I continue to grow, what I learned is that you're going to end up becoming very super hyper focused on achieving just a few things. And so all the other stuff that you were doing that was kind of time wasting, that was solving everybody else's problems, when you get hyper focused on those things that you're wanting to do for yourself, you're going to have to let some of those other things go, and you're going to have to let people figure out their own problems. I remember somebody told me, they said, if you're always solving other people's problems, you actually may be getting in God's way of teaching them how to believe in Him, right? How to
Mhm.
trust in Him. And so even now, I'm such a very giving person, but I have to wait and say, okay, now, God, is this something that you're telling me to do? Because I don't want to get in your way of somebody else's growth and somebody else's development. I used to be, if you had a need, absolutely, I got you. I'm going to take care of you. Now, y'all don't start calling me. You don't start sending me messages and emails, okay? I said used to. I said used to,
Gotcha.
okay? In the past, in the past. But we, I think, are just so used to, does somebody need something done? I got it. Does somebody need to, talk about it? I got it. You need a problem solved? I'm here. You need a listening ear? I got it. You need me to be class mama? Okay, got it. You need me to go on the field trip? Okay, I got it. And so we just run ourselves ragged. And
Mhm.
Mhm.
so we've got to take our lives back, take our power back, and make sure that we prioritize, what's important, and burn that superwoman cake. I realize that I
I like that.
cannot be all to everybody.
Yes.
Right.
I remember my husband used to say, I get the leftovers of you. Like, you go pour out to everybody, your clients, and then by the time you get home, you tired. He tapping my leg for the marriage ministry, and I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
you know what I'm saying? So I mean, there are things that I have to say no to so I can have some energy, for my marriage ministry. So people, I get it a lot from women, and they're like, well, my husband doesn't support my business. And one thing that I understand is that if you don't have a strong foundation in your marriage where you have great communication, you both feel like your needs are being met, you both feel like you're, being supported, and you try to put a business on top of that,
Oh
oh, that's a
yeah.
recipe for disaster. There's
Oh
a
yeah.
recipe for disaster. So oftentimes it's not even that he doesn't support your business, he doesn't support the way in which you are doing your business.
Mm. Wow.
And that was a hard one for me to learn. I was like, you don't support my business. And it wasn't that. It was just so many of the things that I was supposed to be doing as a wife and mother, they weren't getting done. They were lacking. And so the business was not a blessing. It was a burden because it took me away from them, and it just sucked everything out of me. So
Mhm.
your business has to be a blessing to your family and a blessing to your marriage. You can't take away from it.
Absolutely. So we got Tamala in the house. I got it
Hey,
right, Tamala.
Tamara. Good evening. Hello, hello. You looking cute on your picture. Okay, we see you.
Yes, she is. Yes,
Okay.
so true. Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
This is so, we needed this tonight.
Yes,
And
we
you know,
do.
it really is just an exhale. It is an exhale because I think we get caught up in seeing all these grand things on social media, people flying on jets and private islands, and they had these yachts that they rented and all this other kind of stuff. But you don't understand the number one, half of the time that stuff is rented. Okay. So y'all getting jealous, over that. Okay. That's number one. But and then two, you don't know what it has taken, for somebody to get there,
Yeah.
like what they've sacrificed,
Yes.
relationships that they lost. I remember I was listening to an interview that Kobe Bryant did, and it was talking about the motivation, and he was saying that like his relationships suffered. He said basically because he didn't have time to just go on vacation and chill and hang out. Like he was getting up at 4 o'clock a.m. in the morning, working out every day, in season, off season, etc. And so a lot of the friends that he grew up with, those relationships were just kind of severed because he was focused on a goal. And so I don't think that we often understand when we're seeing something what was required to get to that point, and then what is required to maintain it. So as you are dreaming big and having these visions, are you willing to grow into that person, that next level, of that next version of yourself? Because dream big, absolutely, but make sure that you're willing to commit and developing the discipline and consistency day in, day out, when it's hard, when you don't feel like it, to do it. There are plenty of times when it is 5 o'clock in the morning that I need to get up and I don't want to.
Mm.
But you know what I'm saying? Health is a priority for me. Having high energy is a priority for me. So it's not just gonna happen. So I have to get up and my body actually has to go work out. Like I just can't lay there in the bed and be like, oh my God, I'm energetic. Oh my God, I am fine. Oh my God. And it's gonna happen by osmosis. You gotta get up and you gotta do it.
Mm.
Or, we may be like, I wanna build a 6 or 7 figure business, but no, I'm not willing to take any classes. No, I'm not willing to invest any money. Like I had a client and she needed to up level her brand. And she was like, well, I don't want to invest the money to do that. And I'm like, but you want people to pay you for your services. Like if you're not going to invest in yourself, then those are going to be the type of clients that you attract, ones that are not willing to invest in themselves.
Hmm. Yes, yes. And I talk about that so much. Education, building your business, you're going to have to put some skin in the game.
You're gonna have to put some gain. And then don't just get the education, because a lot of people, they will sit on every webinar, they will go
Mhm.
download all these free things and won't implement
Ah,
nothing. Won't
no.
implement nothing. Okay. So it's
Yes.
not that knowledge is a power, it's applied knowledge, or knowledge that is executed upon.
Yes.
Because if you just have it in your head, all you're doing is just getting fat. That's it. You're getting smart, you know what I'm saying? But your business isn't growing.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then the other thing I tell people is find somebody or a system that you can trust and that you can follow that system all the way through. Because if you're listening to 5, 10, 15, 20 different people and you're trying to implement all the different things, like you've not started from point A to point Z, and you're wondering why you're not getting the results that you want. So you got to start something and be consistent. So even in my CEO Life Membership Club, it's 12 months. And I tell people, okay, you got to go through month 1 all the way through month 12 in order to see the type of results that you want. You can't do month 1, month 2 and be like, shoot, I'm tired of this, I'm out of here, and
Mm.
then expect results. You have to go all the way through.
Hmm.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So tell us a
So,
little bit. Oh, go ahead.
real quick, how do people get in touch with you?
So you can go to the CEO.life. That is the CEO.life. And I have all kinds of free resources on there and trainings. And one of the ones that I would encourage you guys to take, it's a free 5-day CEO Confidence Challenge, and it really helps you on shifting your mindset, getting clear on your vision, your purpose for your life, understanding how to set boundaries, because your business or even your career will only grow in parallel to your mindset and to your healing. So some of us have these huge, amazing dreams and visions. And the only way that we're going to be able to accomplish them is that we shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset, from a worker mindset to a CEO mindset, or from a worker's mindset to a leader mindset. So you have to do the work, you have to heal, and you have to build your confidence. So all of that is at the CEO.life. And you can follow me on all social media platforms at Coach T Renee. That's at Coach T Renee. So come find me, guys.
Yes,
Yay.
yes, indeed. Wow. So let's talk a little bit about diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yes.
Mm.
So, as of course, all of the events that have been happening in the last year, not last year, last couple years, and social justice being such a huge part with Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, and just everything that has happened, we actually work with companies on two ends of the spectrum. So, we work with companies on developing a complete ecosystem for diverse businesses, and then also for diversity, equity, and inclusion with your employees. And so when you have corporations or businesses that are out there, it's not just talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion, it's about developing strategies and systems and processes to embed within your culture to basically uproot any type of systematic racism and create an or culture of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So it's such a huge thing now, and you're getting so much more attention because of all of the events that have been happening.
Okay. Okay. Wow. There's so much that your company offers. The mindset, I think, is the hugest
It's the
thing
huge thing.
because everything else will take place when you clean up your mind, get all that junk out, and open up your mind to be able to accept new things.
Hmm. And
So,
it's really being able to see what your limiting beliefs are. So I tell people, sometimes they're just looking for another strategy. And what I tell them, if you're executing a different strategy with the same mindset, you're going to get the same results.
mhm.
Mhm.
So you have to do that mindset work first, because again, you can only attract who you are. So if you have a scarcity mindset, for instance, with finances, if you grew up with money doesn't grow on trees, or you have to work hard for money. So if you grew up with these things, then that is how you're going to run your business. You're not going to charge premium pricing. You're going to accept whatever clients that you get. You're not going to really go after the type of projects that you want or clients that you want, because you have a limited mindset. Or if you hear is no good men out there, all men are dogs. Like if you believe that, then unfortunately that's going to be who you attract in your life. So you have to
Mhm.
shift your mindset to I am abundant. Money flows to me easily. People pay me premium prices to work with me, or I am lovable and I attract healthy and loving relationships. So you have to totally change your mindset to attract what you want. I tell people, I said for 24 hours, just observe what you say about yourself. Like you could drop something on the floor and be like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. Right. And you don't even realize that's what you're saying. Or you may be like, I can't do that. And so what happens is it's the enemy. Like it's no need of focusing on an enemy on the outside, because you're your biggest enemy, the
Mhm.
enemy, because of how you speak to yourself, how you talk to yourself, how you treat yourself. So people are not going to treat you any better than you treat yourself. You teach
Mhm.
people how to treat you based on how you treat yourself.
Mhm.
Yes. And that's a fact.
That is a
That
fact.
is a fact.
Yeah, so start treating yourself better. Like Anthony Robbins has a thing where he says, raise your standards, because your life is going to line up and you're going to do things based on who you believe that you are.
Okay.
So if you believe that you're average, then everything in your life is going to be average. Like
Mhm.
if you believe that you're above average, if you believe that you're a game changer. I remember when I was working on building my self-esteem, I walked around, I was like, oh, I am the answer. I am the answer to the problem that people have. I mean, I said that over and over and over and over again. And like when I was conditioning myself to wake up early, regardless of what time I went to bed, I was like, I'm an early riser. I'm an early riser. I get things done. I just went around saying it and saying and saying it. And one day it clicked. And I remember I had went to bed at like 2 a.m. That's not the norm. My body at 5 o'clock woke up and it was like, you're an early riser. You get it done. But you have to condition your mind to become who you want it to be. So it doesn't matter about what has happened in the past. You have to look at who do I want to become? And then you have to do the healing work to be able to, forgive those things, that may have happened to you. And then you have to shift and set your mindset to that next level of yourself or that next version of yourself. So mindset is essential and mindset is the key to growth and success in any area of your life, whether it's parenting, relationships, business, advancing in your career, losing weight, being healthy, whatever it is.
Hmm.
Yes, absolutely. So the book, how do people get the book?
So the book is available on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Apple Books, wherever books are sold, and also at my website. And the book is called The CEO Life, and it's about building a holistic life and business. You don't have to have or a successful marriage or a business. You can have a successful business and a successful personal life. And I teach you the strategies that I have used and that my clients have used, that I teach, at corporations, proven strategies to get the results that you want. But you have to get the book and you have to implement them. And if you need, accountability and you need support, that's what the CEO Life Membership Club is for. It's a group of powerful CEOs that are like-minded, that they aren't jealous, they aren't, critical. They are there to support you and make sure that you become everything that God has called you to be. The CEO journey can be a lonely journey, but you do not have to do it by yourself.
Mm,
But you do have to ask for help. And it is okay to ask for help. Do not suffer in silence alone anymore. You don't know what you don't know. And so, for a lot of us, you have grown your business as far as you can grow it. You've done everything that you can do. And now you need help to get to that next level. And that's what the CEO Life Membership Club is all about, getting you to that next level.
Okay.
yes. All
Oh,
right.
but you got to be willing to do the work. Okay.
Oh,
If you're not willing to do the work, don't even go to the website. Don't even call us. You got to be willing to do the work and put the time and effort in. You do the work, we'll get you to where you need to go.
All righty now.
yeah.
All right, Miss T. Renee, this has been a powerful conversation to say the least. You have dropped so many gems, and I'm like grateful that you said yes.
Of
And
course.
it has just been thebomb.com.
This has been a very instructive conversation. Thank you.
You are
Yes.
welcome. And just a parting thought to everybody that's watching this, it does not matter what life has thrown at you. You can overcome all your adversity. God can turn it around and you can live the abundant life that you want. So turn your despair into your destiny. Let's go, people. Let's get
Oh,
it.
all righty now.
All right, guys.
Thank
So
you.
remember to live your best life, which is the CEO life. And I look forward to connecting with you guys on social media at Coach T Renee or at the CEO Life.